Have you ever felt like you're being watched? Not just a glance, but a cold, heavy stare that crawls up your spine and refuses to let go. Imagine you're in the middle of nowhere, deep in a forest where the trees seem to whisper your name. You're safe inside your tent, or so you think. Voice lowers. But every single night she appears, a woman, standing just outside, staring, silent, waiting. Pause, voice cracks. And each night, she gets closer. This is a true story. My story. And trust me, you're not ready for what happened. Stick around because by the end, you'll be checking your own windows tonight. Hey everyone, welcome back to Shadows of Terror, where we dive into the darkest, most spine-chilling true horror stories that'll keep you up all night. I'm Alexa, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell because you don't want to miss what's coming. Tonight's story is one I've never shared before. It's personal, it's real, and it still haunts me every time I close my eyes. Picture this: a group of friends, a weekend camping trip, and a forest so remote it feels like the edge of the world. Sounds fun, right? That's what we thought too. Until she showed up. A woman who didn't belong. A woman who wasn't human. Before we dive in, grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and let's step into the darkness together. Ready? Let's go. It was the summer of 2023. Me, my best friend Jake, his girlfriend Sarah, and my cousin Mia decided to do something different. We were tired of city life, the noise, the stress. We wanted to unplug, to feel alive. So Jake found this place online, a campground called Blackthorn Hollow, tucked deep in the Appalachian Mountains. The reviews called it secluded and untouched. Perfect, we thought, a chance to escape. The drive took 6 hours. The roads got narrower, the trees taller, until the GPS just gave up. No signal, no bars. Just us, our beat-up SUV, and a dirt path that looked like it hadn't been touched in years. By the time we reached Blackthorn Hollow, the sun was setting, painting the sky blood red. The campground was eerie. No other campers, no rangers, just a clearing surrounded by towering pines that seemed to lean in, like they were listening. There was a single wooden sign, half rotted, that read, "Welcome to Blackthorn Hollow. Stay on the path." We set up, our tents in the clearing. 2 small tents, one for me and Mia, one for Jake and Sarah. We built a fire, roasted marshmallows, told dumb ghost stories. It felt like the perfect night. Until we went to bed. I remember the first night so clearly. It was pitch black, the kind of dark where you can't see your hand in front of your face. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. No crickets, no owls, just nothing. I was drifting off when I heard it. A rustle, right outside our tent. At first I thought it was an animal, a raccoon maybe. But then it came again. Slower, deliberate, like footsteps. I held my breath, listening. The rustling stopped, but now I could feel it, that feeling, like someone was watching me. "Mia," I whispered, nudging her. "You hear that?" She groaned, half asleep. "It's just the wind, Alex. Go to sleep." But it wasn't the wind. I unzipped the tent flap, just a crack, and peeked out. That's when I saw her. A woman, standing at the edge of the clearing, maybe 20 feet away. She was tall, thin, wearing a long, tattered dress that looked wrong, like it belonged to another time. Her hair was long and black, hanging over her face. She didn't move. She just stood there, staring at our tent. I froze. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it had burst. I wanted to scream, but my voice was gone. I just sat there, staring back, until she vanished. Not walked away, not turned, just gone. The next morning, I told the others. Jake laughed, said I was dreaming. Sarah thought it was a prank. Mia just looked uneasy but didn't say much. I tried to convince myself they were right. Maybe I'd imagined it. Maybe it was just the dark playing tricks, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, that she was still out there. We spent the day hiking, exploring the forest. We found an old, crumbling cabin about a mile from camp, covered in moss and vines. The windows were smashed, the door hanging off its hinges. Inside, it smelled like rot. There were scratches on the walls, deep and jagged, like claw marks. Sarah joked it was a serial killer's Airbnb, but none of us laughed. That night, we sat around the fire, trying to keep things light. But the air felt heavier, like a storm was coming. I kept glancing at the trees, waiting for her to appear. And then, she did. It was past midnight. We were all in our tents when I heard it again, those slow, deliberate footsteps. I grabbed my flashlight, my hands shaking, and unzipped the tent. There she was, closer this time, maybe 15 feet away. Her head was tilted, like she was studying us. Her dress swayed, but there was no wind. "Jake!" I hissed, loud enough for him to hear. He stumbled out of his tent, bleary-eyed. "What's—" He stopped. He saw her too. The woman let out a sound, not a scream, but something worse, a low, hollow moan that made my skin crawl. Jake grabbed a stick from the fire, waving it like a torch. "Get out of here," he shouted, and just like that, she was gone. After that, no one laughed. We sat in Jake and Sarah's tent, whispering, trying to make sense of it. Sarah was crying, saying we should leave. Jake said we couldn't. Our car was low on gas, and the nearest station was 20 miles away. Mia just sat there, clutching her knees, muttering about how the forest felt wrong. I didn't sleep that night. None of us did. We kept the fire burning, taking turns watching the trees. Every rustle, every shadow made us jump. The third night was worse. It started with a tapping, soft like fingers on the tent. Tap, tap, tap. It came from all sides, like we were surrounded. I shone my flashlight outside, but there was nothing. Just darkness. Then Mia screamed. I spun around. She was pointing at the tent wall. There, pressed against the fabric, was the outline of a hand. Long, thin fingers, clawing at the nylon. We all froze, watching as the hand dragged downward, leaving faint scratches. The tent tore. Just a small rip, but it was enough. We grabbed our stuff and bolted to Jake and Sarah's tent, huddling together, praying for morning. But she wasn't done. By the fourth night, we were breaking. No one had slept in days. Sarah was a mess, sobbing about how she felt eyes on her all the time. Jake was angry, snapping at everyone. Mia kept whispering about the woman's face, but she wouldn't explain. And me? I was terrified, but I couldn't stop looking for her. That night, we decided to stay awake, all of us together, with every flashlight and lantern we had. We sat in a circle, clutching knives and sticks. Like that'd do anything. Around 2 a.m., the air changed. It got colder, sharper, like a blade against your skin. The fire flickered, even though there was no breeze. And then, we heard her. A voice. Faint, like a lullaby, but twisted. Words we couldn't understand, drifting from the trees. It wasn't coming from one direction. It was everywhere, surrounding us. Jake stood up, shouting into the dark. "Show yourself!" The singing stopped, and then she appeared. Not at the edge of the clearing, but right there, 5 feet away. Her face was wrong. Pale, almost translucent, with eyes that were too big, too black. Her mouth was a thin, crooked line, like it was sewn shut. Sarah screamed. Mia fainted. Jake swung his knife, but it passed through her like she was smoke, and then she smiled. I don't know how we survived that moment. My mind was screaming, but my body wouldn't move. The woman's smile stretched wider, unnatural, splitting her face. She raised a hand, pointing at me. "Alex," she said. My name, clear as day. I stumbled back, tripping over Mia. The others were frozen, staring. The woman took a step closer, her dress dragging across the ground. Her eyes locked on mine, and I felt everything. Fear, pain, grief, like she was pouring it into me. Jake grabbed a burning log from the fire and threw it at her. It passed through her, but she flinched, her form flickering like a bad TV signal. That's when I realized she didn't like the fire. "Get the lanterns," I yelled. We scrambled, holding up every light we had. The woman hissed, her body twisting, like she was fighting to stay. And then, she spoke again. "You can't leave," she whispered. "You're mine." The lanterns exploded. Glass shattered, plunging us into darkness. We ran, blindly into the forest, away from the camp. Branches tore at our skin, but we didn't stop. We couldn't. We ran until dawn. When the sun rose, we found ourselves near the old cabin we'd seen days before. We collapsed, exhausted, terrified, but alive. The woman didn't follow us. At least, not that we could see. We hiked back to the car, not daring to look back. The drive home was silent. None of us spoke about it, not really. But we all knew something had changed. Weeks later, I did some research on Blackthorn Hollow. What I found made my blood run cold. In the 1800s, a woman named Eliza Crane lived in that forest. She was accused of witchcraft, blamed for missing children. The townsfolk burned her cabin, with her inside. But some say she never died. They say her spirit lingers, claiming anyone who enters her woods. I still hear her sometimes, in my dreams, whispering my name. We never went back to Blackthorn Hollow. We don't talk about it, not even with each other. But last week, Mia called me, her voice shaking. She said she found something in her backpack, something she didn't remember packing, a piece of tattered cloth from a dress. And last night, I woke up to a sound, a rustle, outside my window. I didn't look. I couldn't. But I know she's still out there, watching, waiting. What would you do if she came for you? If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and share it with your friends. Have you ever seen something in the dark you couldn't explain? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. And if you want more true horror stories that'll make you question everything, subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an upload. Next week, we're diving into another nightmare, a house where the walls bleed. Trust me, you're not ready. Until then, sleep with the lights on.